What's up, everybody? Today I'm very excited to talk to you about Bodyline Drills, which is one of my favorite parts of any good workout and also is a really good workout snack. Bodyline Drills is basically a great way to engage your entire body to exercise strength, endurance, balance, and coordination. It is very efficient, it doesn't take much time at all, and it is appropriate for anyone on the fitness spectrum. So if you don't work out at all, or like you're a beginner at fitness, it's very good for just making sure that you have good proprioceptive abilities, making sure that you're coordinated, improves your posture, improves your back pain if you have that, and it's also extremely useful to prevent injury. If you're on the upper echelons of the fitness spectrum, or even just you're a lot more engaged in sports, then bodyline drills are really good for that too, because having a stable foundation is key to be able to perform lifts with good form. It's also really important to be able to have that foundation to do explosive movements, and it's also really important to have good balance to be able to jump around really quickly and switch directions very quickly. So no matter what your fitness level, really going to be good for you. And it's a no excuses workout, because guess what, you just need a floor to do it, nothing else, you just need a floor. That all said, just a few final pointers. One, we want to make sure that we focus on the form here, and it's better to take a break and not do the full minute that we're going to do for some of these exercises than to do it with bad form. The second thing worth bearing in mind, it's important that over time we try to contract our muscles as hard as we can. We want to really make sure that we engage our bodies. Even people that are extremely advanced in fitness do bodyline drills as well. And it really just comes down to how hard they contract their muscles and for how long, and what progressions they do, which I'll also go over. The last thing to keep in mind is that we want to make sure we breathe throughout these positions, because we will be holding them for long periods of time, number one. And we also want to make sure that we don't faint, because we're going to need the energy and need the oxygen to be able to power through these workouts. That being said, let's get started. So we're going to do 6 workouts. We're going to do, or rather 6 positions. We're going to do 5 for 1 minute, and we're going to do 1 for 20 seconds. The first one, pretty easy. This one's going to be the plank. So for this one, let me just make sure I'm in frame here. Cool. So for this one, we want to make sure, so 60 seconds. We want to make sure that our hands are shoulder width apart. Our hands are right under our shoulders. One issue I see is that a lot of people's backs might overextend like this, and you don't want to do that. You want to flex your glutes to make sure, and your legs and your quads, to make sure that that doesn't happen. You want to keep it straight. That's really important. Another important point here that you want to make sure is you want to make sure that your shoulders, they protract. So kind of like a little bit of a hump up here. Kind of like you're doing a planche, if possible. You want to make sure your shoulders protract, but obviously keep your back straight while you do it. Don't hyperextend it. There's a few progressions, or we can make it easier. So we'll start with a little bit easier. If you want to make this a little easy, what you want to do is you want to get on your elbows. That can make it a little bit easier. Or if that's even really hard, you can even just get on your knees, and do this. Just like this, and then work your way up to getting on your hands. Now, if you want to make this harder, one thing you can do is just put your hands, or put your legs on an elevated surface. Just like that. And if you make it even harder for that 60-second window, if this is actually more of a workout and not a warm-up, it's pretty hard. You can just do one hand, just like this, and maybe do 30 seconds on each side. All right, so that's the plank. So after you're done with the plank, we want to do a side plank. And remember, for all of these workouts, we want to slowly transition from one to the other. So right now, we're engaged in a side plank. Things to watch out for, I guess an important one, is you don't want to sag your hips. Keep those up. It's better not to do it. But a few things that could make it easier. There's 2 ways to make it easier. First is you can get on your elbow, just like this. That could make it a little bit easier. The second thing is that you can get on your knee, just like this. But make sure you're really engaging your muscles, even if you're on your knee, because it can be really easy. You can just do nothing. But really make sure that you're engaging those muscles if you're going to be on your knee. So that's one. You want to try to be, again, like a straight line. Going to make it harder, you can still elevate your feet, as I mentioned earlier, just like this. So there you go. That's one of the side planks. Okay, so after 1 minute of this, we need to be able to do the other side plank. So that one, I'm going to slowly come to the ground and just turn. So kind of the same thing on this side, and I'll actually turn so I can face you. But same thing here, like we want to make sure that our hips don't sag. We want to make sure that our shoulder is stacked right over our hand. And we want to make sure that our head isn't, dangling or anything. Keep it neutral, keep it facing forward. You can also optionally look up at your hands as well. And yeah, as before, same regressions can be also applied. If you want to get on your elbow, like to make it easier, you can. If you want to get on your knee, as I do now, because it's tiring, you can do that as well. And again, to progress, you can put your feet on a platform. Cool. So after this, we want to move to the fish pose. But this is also called the reverse plank. So to do this, slowly get on both of your hands. But this might be hard. So an easy way to do this is just you get down just like this, and you put both your feet forward, and you raise your hips up, just like this. Right? And you can kind of adjust as you see fit. But what's important, this is kind of a reverse of a plank in the sense that your shoulders are now retracted instead of protracted. And you really want to expand your chest. Whereas in the plank position, we kind of hollowed it out. We really want to make sure that we are expanding our chest and retracting our shoulder blades. Nothing worth bearing in mind, really just squeeze those glutes, point those toes, and really try to be aligned. That's kind of how I'm stacking myself. I'm trying to make sure you're aligned here. If you're gonna make this harder for yourself, again, you can put your feet on an elevated surface, which I didn't have the foresight to have one on this side. And also I'm too tired to do it right now. So, but you can put your feet up if you wanna make it harder for yourself. And also make sure your head, you don't want your head to be dangling too much. Keep it neutral. You don't have to be doing too much here. Trying to see what else. Yeah, just focus on good form. And again, shoulders over your hands in a straight line. So that's number 4. We want to do all these for 1 minute. And the last one, or rather there's 2 more, sorry. The last 2 that we're going to hold for 1 minute is first the hollow body hold. So what is the hollow body hold? Hollow body hold is pretty easy. So for this one, you're going to lie down just like this. And make sure that no matter what, the lower back and the ground are touching. There can never be a gap there. So we start here just like this. And ideally what we want to do is you want to raise both of our feet and put our hands all the way. I'm going to put our hands all the way back here and hold this for 1 minute. But we can make this easier. So a few regressions that we can try is just raise one leg. Now if that's easy, you can raise 2 legs. If you make this easier, you can raise it higher. What I like to do, if it's really hard, is I'll start over here. It's a little bit easier. And I'll start to work my way, opening it up until I can get it all the way. Another possibility is you can do this and slowly work on extending those legs. But ultimately, you want to be able to hold this position for 60 seconds. Now it's not easy. If it ever gets harder during these, you want to lower, or rather raise your legs and your hands if you want. And then as it gets closer to the end of the 60-second window, you can lower it and lower it and lower it to really get that last piece of energy out of you. Okay, cool. So after this, we're gonna do the last one, which is the Superman. So the Superman, that one's also not super tough. So it's gonna be kind of the opposite of the Holly body hold, that we start lying down just like this. We raise our heads, just like that. And we raise our legs, just like this. So easy way to start, you can just raise your hands back here if you can. Easy. Try to keep your feet together. Then, another progression, you could hold your hands 90 degrees. Another progression, you could hold your hands all the way forward. And then hold this for 60 seconds. So these are regressions. If you want to make it easier for yourself, you can put them here, you can put them here, you can put them down here. But this is kind of where you want to end up being. Hold this for 60 seconds. Okay, and so I know these aren't all 60 seconds, but I've run out of things to say, but we can maybe do another video where I go through all of these for 1 minute at a time and I'm not talking the whole time, because that makes it harder. Cool, and so the last one, so this one we want to do for 20 seconds, this workout. The other ones you do for 1 minute each. For this one, let's try for 20 seconds because it is a lot harder. So for this one, it's called the L sit. And we're going to start with the easiest way first, and we're going to get to harder and harder. So the easiest way, you're just going to sit straight, just like this. And you're going to put obviously your hands under to where your shoulders are. And you want to try to like launch off of your butt. Keep your feet on the ground, everything else in the ground. Just launch off your butt just like that. This one, not too bad. This is like progression 1. Okay. Number 2, try to raise one leg. Then after that, you can try to raise both. And then hold that for about 20 seconds. But yeah, I'll spare you my heavy breathing, but that's the end. So again, the whole routine is just you want to plank for 1 minute, side plank for 1 minute, side plank for 1 minute, reverse plank or fish pose for 1 minute, hollow body hold for 1 minute, and then you want to do the Superman for 1 minute. After that, if you have the energy, you want to do the 20-second L sit if you can. And that's all really. Sometimes if you just do the hard progressions and do that for 6 minutes, you might be good to go. But maybe do the easier ones if you're doing it as the beginning of a workout so you don't tire yourself out, but you get your body right before you do those lifts. Anyway, thank you for bearing with me. Sorry I'm breathing hard. I pushed myself a little bit more while talking. I didn't realize how much talking would take energy out of me. But anyway, thanks, and I'll see you next time.